Welcome to the Awake Space. This is your place for the inspiration to meet your aspirations. It's all about astrology and being effective with your wokeness. I'm Lori Rivers, your host. All right. It's time for another episode of the Awake Space, the astrology podcast with Lori Rivers. So, this is where I come unfiltered, and why not just let her loose? I don't always talk about the deeper mystical side of myself. You might be like, oh wow, but you're an astrologer. And I'm like, yeah, and that's math. It does require a certain amount of mysticism when you get into the deeper esoteric side of astrology, but you don't have to have any really strong intuition or, super powerful psychic abilities to be a really good astrologer. In fact, you can be extremely logic-based and be super accurate. I just happen to be both a mystic and a logical person. I'm equal left brain, right brain. I don't know if you can hear that hawk in the distance, but it's approving this message. Isn't that beautiful? Hopefully it'll speak again and I'll be quiet. It's a little bit faint, but if you hear that chirping sound, that is a Cooper's hawk hanging out on the thermals. So I have been an energy worker my entire life. I didn't know all of what my abilities were called when I was young. It wasn't necessarily encouraged because it wasn't socially acceptable. Even if people around me weren't religious, some were, some weren't, there was a lot of programming from society, that somehow anything that wasn't part of the industrial complex, anything that didn't make you subservient to some higher up, whether it was a higher power or a boss or a landlord or somebody else in charge of you, parents, whatever, that somehow it was bad. It was bad to have agency over your own life. And honestly, I thought that was bogus even when I was a little kid. It didn't make sense to me. I didn't feel unequal to the people around me. I felt too little a lot. But I didn't feel unequal. I knew I had something to do in this world. I knew I had a purpose. I didn't always know what it was, and it was really frustrating. I used to ask my mom as a really little girl, like as a toddler, 2, 3, what am I here to do? I'm supposed to do something, Mom. I don't remember what it is. And she'd say, I don't know, honey, but you'll figure it out. We still talk about that. I don't know, honey. But she got really creeped out when I would talk to my invisible friends. And it did come here to do work. And so did you. We all have in some way. And we all forget coming in. We'll get inklings and glimmers. But I can tell you, it's not from past lives. Those past lives, those are done. We're not here to live those past lives. We're here to live this one. You don't have to heal anybody from a past life. You don't have to make up for anything. That's another control mechanism. Any theology that has you, there goes the hawk. Any theology that has you somehow being deficient as a human is point blank out to control you. And as much as rugged individualism is a problem when we talk about my rights, so too is subverting your nature and your power. And real power is not about dominance and control. Real power is understanding that you are a puzzle piece in a giant puzzle of the universe, and that your piece is an important part of the puzzle. You're part of the very fabric of life. And that itself makes you divine as the wind kicks up to punctuate that concept. I work a lot with nature. I always have. and nature speaks with me and around me. It's my biggest signals to know if I'm speaking true. Whether it's the wind or the plants, the flowers, the birds, other animals, and there's the hawk flying on the thermals, singing. I can hear it. I was always observing what was going on. And that's what I want to invite you to do. I want you to invite to connect with this planet. You are not separate from Earth. You are her child. And you are part of this amazing organism called planet Earth. We are not a virus. We are not. There are concepts that are diseases. There are mindsets that are diseases. But your nature is of and from this earth. And we are part of this process called life on planet Earth. I really, really suggest you connect in. And why? Because Venus is trine Pluto, my friends. Venus is in Virgo. Pluto is in Capricorn. We are undoing the very toxicity of generations right now collectively. And that is why everybody is shook. The concepts and the constructs of dominance and control and dominion over the land is crumbling as we are now being forced to adapt to the consequences of unthinking actions. And we can take accountability. We've all played a role. Our ancestors played a role. And all cultures played a role. Humans, as an anthropologist, I can tell you this. Humans have a great way of trashing their neighborhood and moving on. And it isn't until they run out of room that they have to deal with using things judiciously. Sometimes it takes an ice age. Sometimes it takes a natural disaster blocking you from movement. Some people have extra genes for exploration. Some don't, and they settle in an area. There's so much fascinating about what makes us human. But we're not above any other species, and we're not the only species to have consciousness. We're still trying to understand consciousness. Anybody who claims they know exactly what consciousness is a liar. I know we've gotten some bad climate news. I wasn't surprised. I've been seeing it coming. I've been warning for years before I was an astrologer. Because the writing was on the wall. So sings our hawk. The writing was on the wall 30 years ago. And warning people to adapt and change before we got to a point of no return. We could have prevented it. We didn't. Look at COVID. We could have prevented it. We didn't. And what is at stake is an undoing of freaking dogma. And all of you people born in the 90s and the 80s with Neptune in Capricorn, you are having your societal delusions and illusions undone by Pluto. If you either have or you are having them undone. And those that choose to stick with the delusions that the rat race is a thing and that you need to work for an overlord who assigns your value, they're going to be in for a world of hurt as things rapidly change. We're going to see some of that change rapidly escalating in October of 2021, and it will continue into 2022 and 2023. And we almost may feel like we have collective whiplash. It's why I created the Patreon. It's why I have the community for people to come together, communicate, get support, give support. And if you are a patron and you are not commenting in the Discord, please introduce yourself. I'll make an introduction thread. I know our threads can get busy with conversations. You may not want to just sound like you're a non sequitur. I'll get that up and going today. Today is a powerful day for magic. Tomorrow is a powerful day for magic, and it's the right kind of magic. It's not the manipulative, make them love me magic. That's immature. It's so immature. I've never liked that trying to make people do things to bend to our will. That is not power. That is fucking patriarchy. Whether it's a man or a woman doing it, or a non-binary person trying to coerce connection is unacceptable. Make them love me. What the hell? Love yourself first. That's magic. That's the deepest kind of magic. This idea that we need completion through another is another line of control and devaluation of self, and that is unacceptable. And my friends with Venus in Virgo, it is a time to take inventory of your skill sets and your connection to this life, to create a new foundation full of value based on real skills. Real skills. Skills that you can use to build a better world for yourself. You can't change everything in this world. You can't address the biggest changes, but you can certainly take stock of what you need for your mental wellness and work from there. And you can sit outside and listen to the birds and watch the wind play in the leaves and notice when it's quiet and notice when it's loud. You can feel the rain drop on your skin and water the earth. You can feel the earth give way in relief when it's dry and the rain tumbles over the hardened soil. It's a little bit what it's like for us when we don't love ourselves enough and love comes to us. If we're so depleted and dry, sometimes that love just wells over the surface and trickles, and we reject it. And that's why we want to nurture the very inside of our heart and our soul with as much passion as we think we want from someone else. Because if that passion shows up and you are not ready to receive it, my God, it bounces off. And we're lucky when it bounces back again. The most powerful magic happens in the full light of day. And that is what I'm going to talk about in the next segment. Anyone can do magic when the world is quiet, in the dark, in the silence. Hold concentration. The most powerful magic users, the most powerful light bringers, the most powerful energy workers can work their magic in the full cacophony of the day, when the world is loud. And these aren't people that you expect to be. They're not wearing the sexy costumes. They're not dressed up for the cosplay. It could be a homeless person walking down the street talking to whatever is around them, and they look at you and they say, "Hey, lady, I see you. Keep doing it. Keep shining." It could be a janitor cleaning the floors in a school and wiping down handles to make sure kids don't get sick, because they've been listening to the scientists and they know that those kids are at risk. That's magic right there. Everybody wants that certain spell or the right crystal or the right antidote, the right bling bling, ching ching, make it grow, make it flow. You're the fucking magic, guys. You're the fucking magic. I've been trying to teach people this my whole life. Yeah, spells are fun, not gonna lie. I wanted to be a witch that made potions and turned grown-ups into frogs when I was 3. I did. In fact, I used to gather things out of medicine cabinets and make potions, not to drink. No, these were far more arcane. I would paint them on the walls. Oh, try getting iodine off a wall. Guys, you're the magic, and the most powerful magic happens in the full light of day. I'm not saying you shouldn't do stuff at night. I do stuff at night. I set prayers at night. It is easier to concentrate when the world is quiet. But when I work with elementals, the wind, the earth, the water, the trees, the other nature spirits, I work in the full light of day. I speak with my friend, the wind, and I speak with the trees and the flowers and the bugs and the birds and the rodents, whatever is around, and ask their permission and their help. Sending them love. When I did my road trips between 2014 and 2018, I did 200,000 miles in that time. I was driving a lot. I would send my love out as far as I could imagine it reaching, wherever I was, in the middle of nowhere, through cities. And that's what's funny. People think they have to leave a city to find nature. I used to have a red-tailed hawk follow me down Wilshire Boulevard when I lived in mid-Wilshire in LA. It would sail above the big, tall buildings, riding the thermals, calling out, and nobody seemed to notice because they never looked up. You'd think somebody with bad vision wouldn't notice these things, but it's always been those things that I've noticed. Maybe it's because I have good ears and I can hear them first and look up. And like, where did I hear that sound? There is magic in the full light of day, equally to that at night. The key to working at night is not fearing the dark. The key to the day is allowing your light to meet the sun's and to not feel like you'll combust. And that takes a whole lot of self-love and self-awareness. Years ago, I met a man. And when we connected, we collided. And we collided. It's a story and a half, and I swear to God, I have to write it as a story someday. It'll be quite a book. And we've reconnected. And the thing is when we first met, we were like dry soil, both of us. Both had been wishing for passion, and not just physical passion. And that's where things started. But emotional passion, just unbridled connectivity. But we were both so depleted that we bounced off each other. It was like an earthquake and a volcano all at the same time. We met, we collided, and we bounced the hell off of each other. And it wasn't for lack of love. It was lack of trust. It was lack of ability to receive. And we stayed in contact, and it was misery. And about 6 weeks ago, we reconnected. By chance. He was on my mind, and I was like, fuck it, I'm not getting a hold of him. I'm not doing it. I've been here before. I'm not doing it. And it got stronger. The thoughts of him got stronger. And finally, I just texted him. It was right before his birthday. And I always text him for his birthday. And he texts me for mine. And I told him I love and I hate that I met you. I hate that I met you because it hurts. And I love that I met you because I'm so glad you were not available, because I have become all of myself in not being able to be with you. Thank you for being unavailable to me. And he responded back. And we had a conversation. And we already know we have chemistry, so none of that has occurred. But in the last 6 weeks, we've met, not weekly, but almost, to sit and talk and walk and get to know each other. And the one thing that is certain is that both of us were watering the earth of our lives. And I know I was watering mine. I once loved someone when I was young so much that I didn't think I could live without them, and I certainly learned that I could. And I never wanted to feel that way again. And I don't feel that way about this person because I know that I can live without someone I love in my life. Doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. It can, but my chest doesn't crack open. And I realized he came back in when I was 100% in love with myself and my life. So all of that rhetoric we preach in personal and spiritual growth, love yourself, love yourself, love yourself. Oh hell, it's not just words, it's the truth. And whether or not he and I end up together long term, this is the sweetest time. And it's sweet because I already love me. This magical time we're in, we need to love ourselves so radically. And radical doesn't mean being militant. Radical means get to the root of things, the foundation of things. It is the Pluto in Capricorn retrograde to undo the dysfunctional foundation of our lives and rebuild it with the cement of practical love. Virgo, Venus. The practicalities of love. The details, the minutiae. To look into your soul and your spirit and your personality and know what is intrinsically valuable about you. It's a time to be organized, a time to get things together. It is a time to make magic in your life. And that's not about getting the big man or woman on campus. It's not about getting the corner office. It is about quality of life. Sustainable, practical solutions. That's what this magical moment is about. And it is best done in the full light of day. For real. The full light of day. We take our most productive time and hand it to someone else and someone else's agenda. We're taken out of the natural rays of the sun and put under fluorescent lighting, diminishing our vitality. I suggest if you work in an office, getting your butt outside for at least your 15-minute break and getting some real light. Wear your sunscreen, sure. But even if you're in the middle of a city, there's nature. There's trees, there's bugs, there's birds, there's people, and people are part of nature too. We are not separate from nature. That was the biggest lie ever sold. We are not separate from nature. We are the children of Gaia. And it's time we acted like it. You have an immense opportunity over the next couple of days to reconnect with your source self, Gaia, and own a little bit more of your natural power, which is quiet. It's truth. It's solid. You don't need other people to believe like you or do the same things as you or want to do the same things as you or follow the same rules as you to be in your power. You just need to do what you need to do for you. And yeah, it'd be nice if everybody wore a freaking mask. We know they're not going to, and we know we're going to have to face a crisis with it. When you're in your power, you realize you're part of a bigger system. You're an important puzzle piece in a giant universal puzzle. And then you know that when you wear your mask and you get vaccinated, if you can, that you are of service not only to yourself and for your wellness, but the wellness of the whole. That is Virgo. Understanding that the individual plays a role in the collective. It's not a time to sacrifice ourselves. It's not a time to martyr ourselves. To what cause? It's a time to be really understanding of how you're connected to the tree to your left or your right, and how you're connected to that earth under your feet and the air flowing around you. The way the little zephyrs will pick up to the hummingbird buzzing around the bougainvillea in front of me. How are you connected? Through joy, through living. Do you think the hummingbird ever just sits and goes, well, gosh, what am I going to do with my life? Sometimes they fight over the nectar. That was that chittering sound. Your life is the purpose. Your being here is the purpose. And the more you realize the sacredness of that, the greater a more positive outcome becomes. Every moment of every day, we have the opportunity to make decisions that shape the future. In every right now, this present moment, we have the opportunity to make a decision. And it doesn't have to be grandiose. It can be in this moment, I can feel my connection with all of life. I can feel my feet on the ground and the wind playing through my hair. I can feel the atoms in my body buzzing, knowing the truth of the words I'm speaking. And I am connected here and in this joyful moment, this moment, not yesterday's moment, not tomorrow's future moment, but right now, right here. This decision, this vibration creates another pathway in the future. And that is alignment, moment to moment, moment to moment, moment to moment, moment to moment, now to now, to now to now, to now to now. You're never failing because you always have a present moment. And if you want to know what it means to be aligned, let me tell you, it's soft. It's easy. It's relaxed. It doesn't have to be unbridled enthusiasm, although that's pretty cool, but it's hard to keep up with. It's a relaxed chest, deep, easy breaths, not holding your shoulders up to your ears. It's being able to look up at the sky and think, my gosh, it's not so bad being here right now. Just right now, in this moment, everything is pretty much okay. Seems a little oversimplified, doesn't it? I mean, we have bills to pay and things to do and Joneses to keep up with. Fuck the Joneses. I never liked them anyway. Why would you want to keep up with anybody? Why would you want to compare yourself to anybody? You are a magnificent slice of divine creation. What is there to compare? If you've ever been in a reading with me, I really wish you'd understand how I marvel at your beauty. I marvel at the absolute wonder of the being that you are, that you chose to be in this lifetime. And I am so honored to sit in your presence and help you understand how miraculous you are. You had a 1 in 400 trillion chance of being human. Try to convince me you don't matter. You matter as much as any star in the sky, any leaf on a tree. You are the giggle of a baby, the meow of a kitten, the sparkle glinting off of glass. You are the magic, damn it. I don't know how much more I can emphasize the importance of this. And if you think this is just another fucking feel-good message, think again. Our lives, our future depends on how we love. Really love. And sometimes love means saying, no, nope, not gonna deplete myself today. Love means watering the earth and not depleting her resources. And notice how we have so often depleted our own. It's why my beloved and I just collided and spun off from each other, because we had both over-sacrificed our wants and needs to ensure other people's happiness. And so we could not grasp our own. And now we're no longer grasping. We're gently receiving and weighing and measuring our own unique individual experiences as we walk side to side, side by side. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Side by side. And wonder how we walk through life and how we make that happen. That's magic. Because if you would have told me back in May or even June or the week I texted him that I would be reconnected, I would have disagreed. And it's time for a patron shout out. Without you guys, this podcast wouldn't be happening. I want to thank you very much for that. And just so you know, working on some merch. Having some fun with that. So we're taking a look here. Let's go to Patreon. We've got some new folks to give a shout out to. We've got Amanda, Janelle, Deanna, Joanne, April, Sarah, Francesca, CJ, Rihanna, Aaron, Christina, Taylor, Becca, Melissa, Amanda, Shannon, Rachel, Camille, Angel. Those are some of the new faces in Patreon. Thank you very much. Your patronage makes this all happen. What's happening in the Discord? In the Discord, we've got some talks about people just kind of feeling a little gritty. Yeah, and people are enjoying my best friend Kirsten's chocolate. That's right, Kirsten Joyful Life on TikTok, and Kirsten Soga. She is a chocolatier, a life coach, and my very best friend. And I will say her chocolate is amazing. And if you want to try out the very best chocolate you've ever had in your life, and that is not an exaggeration, she uses the world's best cacao. It's from Ecuador. It's biodynamically sourced, which means it's also beyond fair trade. It actually very much benefits both the land and the community from which it comes. And then she makes the most yummy, delicious treats from it. My mom is probably one of her best customers, and my mom is really picky. But you can go to kirstensoga.com and get your own. She is also a patron, and she's in Discord as Kirsten. So go make sure you say hi. Hey, if you're a patron and you're in Discord and you're feeling a little shy, just jump on in. We love you. We're there for you. So, thank you again from the bottom of my heart. So I've been insisting on the magic, and the reason why I'm insisting on the magic right now is because this is part of the process as we push towards the full moon in Aquarius on August 22nd. There's a lot happening before then. Everybody looks at new moons and full moons and they forget that the magic is what happens in between. Those are windows. It's what we do in the middle. And we've got so much happening in between. This is a very powerful and rare moment in time. You can't really do it wrong, but you can do a whole lot right. Be kind to yourself. Really work on that. Really work on building your connections with others. Really work on letting go of any theology or philosophy that makes you inferior. Because that is the biggest lie of all. We've got Venus in Virgo until August 16th. It will be in trine to Pluto until then. We're in the approaching trine. We will be in the exact trine tomorrow, August 11th. And then we will be separating trine until the 16th when Venus enters 0 degrees Libra, which is like my favorite. I know I say I don't have favorites, but it's totally my favorite because that's my Jupiter-Uranus placement, and it's so rebelliously delicious. It's what makes me a little social justice warrior. Please get a hold of resistline3.org. Go to that website. Find out what you can do to petition your politicians to get this sucker shut down. Magic happens collectively too, and when we join forces, we can make a difference. Standing Rock was successful. Eventually, we need to be successful again. We need to get that stopped. They're not going to stop it if we don't push. So please push however you can. That's right in line with Venus and Mars in Virgo. Now, Venus is going to be heading into Libra. We still have Mars in Virgo. It's a great time to learn how to connect to nature and nature's spirits. You might want to look up the work of Michelle Small-Wright and map coning. She did books on it. You might want to look at your connection to the planet. Not in despair, though. Don't fall into despair. It's so freaking easy. God, it's easy. Don't fall for that. Don't fall for despair. Don't fall for hopelessness. There is always hope. That's one thing I learned as a kid. As dark and scary as it was, there was always hope. Sometimes it took a long time, but sometimes it didn't. It took me a long time to have the life I have, but that's only because, like you, I was trained to look at the negative. I was trained to look at what was missing. I was trained to look at the chains binding me, and I wasn't trained to look at how I was the key to unlocking anything that bound me. And when I realized that, the chains came off. And then I had to learn how to be free. Because when you've been in bondage to trauma, when you've allowed yourself to be controlled by other, and allowed is kind of a judgy word, because, we get trained from childhood to give our authority away, especially women. Like, it's easy to give your power away to a significant other or a male authority figure. Even now, if there was a male astrologer with half of my experience, a lot of people would listen to him instead of me, because everybody's been trained to listen to the penis. I don't know why. It doesn't exactly make them smart. Men have been running things for, 4,500 years. They've got a great track record. I'm not anti-man, but I sure as hell am anti-patriarchy. I've always said I just want the right to be equally incompetent, because obviously they get to be. It is time. It is time. It is time. It is time to own your magnificence. Do it. Do it today. It is not a time to nitpick yourself to death or look at your flaws. That is a misinterpretation of Virgo energy. Virgo energy is about refinement. Look at what you do well and then do that more. It's not about perfectionism. That's not an actual thing. We're not here to be perfect. We're here to be effective. Be effective. My friends, be effective. My God, be effective with yourself. You're not doing it wrong. If you hate what's going on in your life, it's time for a change. And the biggest change you can make is how you view yourself. And that's what this energy is about, because we can change things in the now. I'm telling you. It's amazing what miracles we can pull off. Oh, did you hear the donkey? My neighbor has a donkey. How cool is that? They have goats too. It's kind of cool to hear them. And we can be stubborn like donkeys, right? We just set our feet down and say, well, but I'm not good at these things and I'm not going to try. That doesn't pan out very well. Because life keeps rolling. Time keeps marching on. The days go by fast. The years go by faster. Grab it now. Not just because of COVID and climate change, but just grab it fucking now because. Grab your joy where you can frickin' find it. That was the message of the new moon. And as we head to that full moon on the 22nd, we are looking at how we as a collective, as humanity, Pisces rules the collective unconscious. Aquarius rules humanity in the daytime, the full light of day. And if you want to be a powerful magic worker, if you want to be a powerful energy worker, a powerful healer, it's done in the full light of day, because that requires skill, and you can build that skill. And the biggest way I know to do that is to love yourself and your connection. That's all that is, to know that you're an important puzzle piece. Uranus will go retrograde on August 20th. Expect some very interesting happenings around then. And then the full moon on the 22nd. we still have time to prepare for disruption in October. And the best way we'll be able to navigate the changes heading our way is to be solid in and of ourselves and know our power. And we can have discussions about what our power is in Discord. So if you're a patron, get your butt in there. Ask questions. I'm a lot more than an astrologer. It's just easier to describe myself that way. But I can guarantee you that I came here to do good work, and that work is to help you understand how very valuable you are. We are a big team on this planet, and everybody plays a role, even the assholes. And it honestly only takes a small number of us humans understanding our value to make a very big difference to the trajectory of the future. If you've got questions about that, bring it into the Discord. Once again, I want to thank you guys. Thanks for letting me be in my purpose. It feels really freaking good.